All right. So if you have this kind of example, let's ask this first. Is it arranged or not arranged? Is that in standard form? It has to be in ax squared plus bx plus c. Is it or not?
It's not.
It's not. So we need to start moving numbers. So it's easier to have a positive 3x squared. So what I'll do is I'll move all of them to the left side. Okay, so this goes here, it becomes a positive 3x squared. And then a 7x follows next, but I'm not moving that 7x, so I'll copy it down, 7x. And then a positive 6 becomes a minus 6 equals 0. Okay, so from here, I know my A, B, and C. So I'm going to write it now. A is equals to 3, B equals 7, and C equals negative 6. That's easy. So truly, you just wanted to know, okay, what if I'm solving this blindly and I don't have a calculator? Let's assume we don't have a calculator first. Okay, what will I do? Well, I wanted to know if it touches the x-axis twice or once or 0. It doesn't really touch the x-axis. I'll use the discriminant factor. I want to get an idea on how does this graph behave. So discriminant factor says b squared minus 4ac. Okay, let's see. So this is all about roots. All right, so what is my b? 7. And it says 7 squared minus 4 times a is 3 and c is negative 6. Okay, well, what is that? 49. I know that 4 times 3 is 12 times 6 is what? Positive. What is 12 times 6? Well, 12 times 6 gives me 12 carry 1, 6, 72. Well, this is going to be what? 121? 121 is greater than 0, right? Therefore, I'm looking for 2 roots. Because if it's greater than 0, it has 2 roots. Therefore, this touches 2 specific points on the x-axis. Okay, so let's see how does it look like on the Desmos. I'm just going to check it on Desmos. So I'm going to type it 3x squared and then plus 7x, and the other one is a minus 6. Oh, look at that graph. The graph actually looks like this. My values are through Desmos. I'm going to start here. Okay, the first strategy that I did was Desmos. This time we're going to switch it around. Desmos says, well, hey, it's negative 3 comma 0. And I'm looking at 0.667. Here we go with the decimal. That decimal, it looks familiar, but sometimes, what if you really don't know what that decimal will be? Okay, so you have 2 ways. You either next proceed to factoring or you proceed to the quadratic formula. Let's try to do the factoring first. So factoring, let's see if I could factor these. If not, I'll just switch to the quadratic formula. So it says here, given was 3x squared plus 7x minus 6 equals 0, right? Okay, so look, I have a minus here. It means subtract. And it says the factors of 6, 1 times 6 and 3 times 2. But I have another factor, 1 times 3. So let me see if I could factor it correctly. If not, I will have to really switch to the last recourse, which is quadratic formula. So that will be 1x, 3x. Well, let me see if I'll put 1 and 6 here. Well, if I say subtraction, will it give me the 7 that I need? So this is 3x and this is 6x. 6 minus 3, will it give me 7? No, it won't. If I switch this as 6 and 1, this one will be 18 and this will be 1x. 1x. I'll write it light so that I could erase it quickly. So that's 18 and an x and an x. When I subtract them, it gives me 17. I need a 7. Therefore, that's not the right factor. Let me erase them. Okay, I'll erase them. Therefore, my next one will be 3 and 2. Let me write 3 and let me write 2. 3 times 3 gives me a 9x. 2 times x is 2x. It says I need to subtract, so 9 minus 2x gives me a 7x. And I need a positive. Therefore, this should be positive and this should be negative because I'm subtracting. One is positive, one is negative. Therefore, this is the right combination. It gives me the middle term. So therefore, positive 9. I won't write the positive here, but I will write the positive, this one here. And then 2x, I'll write it here. Then I will write back the 0. Okay, so I need only this one. So the factored form will be, I'm about to solve for the roots. Solve for roots. Okay, the solving for the roots will be, you separate this group. One factor, x plus 3 equals 0. That's one root. The second root will be, oh, hold on. It will be, that's a 3x. So it will be 3x sub 2 minus 2 equals 0. I just put 2 because they're different x values. You can't put them the same x when they're both different values. X sub 1 is equal to, you need to switch that there, it becomes minus 3. 3x minus 2 equals 0. You need to move that over there, solving for x equals 2. You want to divide it by 3 because you want to isolate the x value. You get 2/3. That is your value for your x, okay? If you notice, if you will look at this, that's your negative 3. And if you divide 2 over 3 in fraction, it gives you 0.667. They are the same. That's the decimal way. This is the fraction. But on the TSI, you will be asked to solve and you'll be asked to produce the fraction. Okay? Since we're able to factor it, we don't have to proceed with the factoring, a quadratic formula. Okay? You could do quadratic formula, but since this one is factorable, so we're good. Questions? None? Okay, so when you say plus mean, is it for this one? Let me get the factoring. Quadratic, is it this one? So this is part of the formula. This here, the plus and the minus, is part of the formula to tell you that there are two possible values of your x's, plus and minus. Because when you take the root, it has two possible values, a plus and a minus. It could be a negative times a negative, which gives you positive, or a positive and a positive. This one here is two positive values. You separate them for the two roots. Okay. Any questions from the group?